listen to the kick right here, he actually starts like on 4 instead of 1 to start.
Okay.
The chorus starts with actually the 4 into the 1. So if you listen to the kick right there, it's going do 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 do. So this is the 4 and this is the 1. And that's how the phrase
Okay,
starts.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. But like when he's singing, he's still singing like Sota House. He's still singing on 1 though.
Correct. So the drums
Right?
are
Okay,
starting the
but the drums.
phrase on the 4 and the singer and everything else is coming in on the 1,
Oh,
which is super
okay,
interesting.
cool.
And then for the hi-hats, there's something really iconic about this hi-hat here. It's this tats, tats, tats. So this is how that goes. So it's like that tat tats tat tats. So I really wanted to pick a hi-hat that is kind of remnant of that same rhythm. And then I paired it with an ambient hi-hat rhythm that kind of was doing a little bit of the opposite to give that pull feel, push and pull feel. And that's why I picked this one here. And then one more thing that I use to kind of give that same push and pull vibe. I took the snare and I actually put this Murder Melodies plugin and I cranked up the reverse. So without the plugin, it sounded like a normal snare.
Yeah.
But then when you put the plugin on it, it sounds like it's being sucked out of space.
Okay.
And then I paired that with this snare. And it kind of gives that
it like kind of anchors it down a little bit, but not so much to take away like the effect of the reverb or the reverse snare, right?
Yeah. And so it kind of gives that same like push and pull vibe for it.
Yeah. So I have a question though.
Okay.
Because like you went over the hi-hat really fast, and as a like non-drummer, all I hear in the Tool track is just like an open hi-hat. Like I just hear open hi-hat.
So what it is it's 2 closed, 1 open. So it's as if shut, shut, open, shut, shut, open, shut, shut, open is how. So every time you hear the shh, that's the drummer. He's lifting his foot off the pedal. So it's like.
So he's not like hitting it. He's not like hitting it while it's open. He's hitting it and then opening it. And it's like still ringing from him hitting. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a technique that you kind of learn over time as a drummer where you're still hitting it, but you're almost like pulling it. So it's almost like a da pull, da pull. And so when you pair that with a snare hit that's just straight up on 2 and 4, and then you pair that with a kick hit that's on just the 1 and 3. It makes it really difficult as a drummer to like actually play that. Like if I sit down at the drum kit, I'm doing 1, 2, 3 different things with my body at separate times. Like nothing is really hitting together. So it's stat, stat while your foot is going boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
So emulating that with MIDI is 10 times easier than actually sitting down at the drum.
Okay, got it. But it's kind of like he's filling in the spaces, like he's filling in the syncopation with, well, I'm sure there's more to it, but with the snare, kick, and the hi-hat, by making the snare have like, or the hi-hat have, like you said, what do you call it, a pull sound? He's not just using the hi-hat in like this kind of like classical way, where classical meaning like traditional way, I should say.
Traditional,
right, like traditional. But because of that, like when he's filling in like those beats, and then when the kick is moving around, it kind of adds like another color. That's what I'm hearing you say, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you listen to, I don't have like the isolated drums from the original one, but if you listen to just this drum beat, it's like the kick drum is going with that bass, and the when the bass is going doing kind of like that is when the hi-hat opens up. And so it's
Yeah.
really like this beautiful glue between the drums and the bass
Yeah. Yeah.
that sounds so simple because it works so well, but is actually quite difficult to play. I think that's why, like, doing
Got it.
covers like this, where you're taking these iconic drummers like Danny Carey and you're like splitting it into, these MIDI based instruments, is really interesting because you really get to break down exactly what he's doing. I wanted some kind of like really reverby poppy snare to only come in during that last, like the chorus.
Yeah.
And I went through all these different samples, and this is actually the BBC Orchestra Spitfire audio like orchestra snare that comes with
Okay.
this plugin from Spitfire. And it literally sounds like if you've ever been in elementary school band and you get to play the snare in
Okay.
the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what it sounds like. So here's what that sounds like. I mean, it literally sounds like
Yeah.
you're in an orchestra. And so I thought, okay, if I paired it with the reverse snare and these other snare samples that I have, I can use all four of these to make the perfect snare sound, which is something that I do often. Like, the rule of you have to pick a snare and live with it is garbage. Like, don't worry about that. Pick as many
Yeah.
snares as you want and like blend them together. And so that was what it sounded like on its own. This is what it all sounds like together. And it just kind of gives this really cool, I think it sounds really cool effect.
No, it does sound really cool. I was trying not to scream over it. But I remember I wasn't being, because I was gonna, that's how I was gonna do it.
I love the
I was trying to let
enthusiasm.
it play for the Zoom. Okay.
The only other thing was Danny Carey does this thing that actually I do when I play the drum sets. I have a double bass pedal, and
Okay.
it's this like drag. So it's like, brah, brah. It's like 3 hits all together, kind of two at the same time. Drummers call it like a diddle. And it's when you let like the
Okay.
drum kind of bounce a little bit.
Okay.
And so I was like, how am I going to do that? Like with the kick drum. So I ended up just doing all these 3 notes right together as 16th notes
Yeah.
right before the one.
Yeah.
So this is something that I could easily do with my feet, that I had to take my brain and go, how do I program this? Because I can do it with my feet, but like, how can I program it?
Yeah.
And it sounds like this. So it's kind of got this like hip hop feel to it.
Yeah.
So then this would be the entire drum section for just that part, which I find to be really interesting. And it's only the pre-chorus, it's only 4 bars of this really super interesting beat. So you have to really pay attention to it. And that was
Okay, we should just
probably,
take that and make another song.
we should. We will.
Like,
We're
we
gonna
should literally
we're just gonna pluck that right out. Cause I think,
yeah, we
especially
just
with
gonna
that there's another sound in there. Oh, it's the secondary hi-hat that I love. We
okay.
don't have to put this in the video, but like
Okay.
this
But I want to hear.
this
Yeah, yeah. That's the one. I was like, okay, yeah, that's the one. I was like, I feel like I'm not hearing.
it like
I love
bounces
that one.
between my ears, and then this not hi-hats. I like that do 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 do, do, which is very, that little sound, that do 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 do. If you listen to a lot of Tool, that's a very Tool sound. Like if you
Okay.
listen to like Lateralis or 10,000 Doors or whatever, like that, those high weird noises, Danny Carey has them programmed to his like octo drum sets. And it's like ding, ding, ding. So I was like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
gotta throw that little thing in there. It's like a little ode to Tool. All right. So let's
Cool.
talk about James the Bassoon.
Okay. All right. So then I'm listening to this song, right? And I'm like, okay, well, we have to do the bass line because I got these drums right here. All right, let's start at the beginning. So, with that being said, right, this track, first and foremost, it's in the key of D minor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So really, I just did the bass line. All I did for the bass line was just play that D ostinato. I try to just like have fun with it, not maybe, like so that way when you go to mix it, you can like move it around, which you always do anyway. So I was just like, I'm just trying to play a couple like variations of the same bass line, right? I'll turn it up. So that's really all that was, just that like that same line. The only other thing I could think of was like, the bassoon has these little sounds that you can make where it's more like not harmonics, but just like the sound of you sort of blowing air through the horn, right? So like it kind of sounds like a helicopter. So I try to put those in there.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very Tool-esque too, because it's kind of like this weird, creepy, unsettling stuff.
Right, exactly. And then I was thinking to myself, well, there is kind of this guitar solo, kind of not. I really honestly went very ADHD and was just like, let's just pick a struggle. And so I started with I started with whatever I felt I knew I could lock in like the fastest, which was that main lick that you kept telling me about. So then I'm trying to figure out along the way, like, okay, is it da da? Like, is it, you know, like, is it this long, like Luciano Pavarotti, like, because when you go to mix it, the articulation has to be as close as possible to like in the pocket, but still like characteristic of the bassoon so that it sounds like it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So once I kind of figured that out, then I track that. So then I'm like, all right, that works. And along the way, as I started learning more of the words to the song and like, the verse, chorus, pre-chorus, I'm trying to find a way. I was trying to make the song lift as much as like, lift in the sections as much as possible with just James alone, with just James the bassoon alone. So that way, when we add anything else, its purpose is not fulfilled elsewhere, right? Like,
Yeah.
if James can do the melody and like the rhythm and maybe, fill in some of the harmony, then I'm gonna do it. So
Yeah, it's
that's
cool.
where,
It kind of sounded like it's like dueling bassoon or dueling guitar,
yeah,
like in a way.
exactly. So like these are I had this added. So I just was like, okay, let's just do D minor arpeggio, right? Until we can't breathe anymore. Which is what I was thinking. Like just any and every note goes. Because once you mix it, I'm like, it doesn't really matter. And I did the same thing here. This one it's not exactly the same, it's a little higher. So anything just inside the key would work to me at that point. So let's
Yeah.
say without these things, like let's literally just say with these two licks, and really they're just arpeggio. And since it's the chorus, I felt like the movement is fine. Like the movement is it's not too busy. It's appropriate now.
Yeah. Probably my favorite part of the whole thing was like I don't know how to, I can't point at your screen. It's like in the pre-chorus there when you have those two bassoon parts. Looks like on the second, yeah, those right there where they just kind of come out of nowhere. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, this one, yes. Okay, so this one was fun because so like with the way the lyrics were working, like there's space. So the way that where the vocals are, there's like this space. Jesus, won't you try a whistle? Something that the past has done. Jesus, won't you try a whistle? We have to fill in the space a little bit.
So cool.
That was fun. And last but not least, I should say, is this solo is like the solo. I was like, well, I think that we should play a solo. And really the solo is just the main melody on bassoon. Sounds like this. Then I come in with the lick with the just an octave above.
It's dope.
And I added a harmony. And yeah, that's cool. James. Yay!
No, let's talk about how you picked the vocals, where you wanted to put the harmonies, like what inspired you to sing it a certain way instead of the exact same as the original.
Okay, got it. So with this song, I had to sit with it for a minute because I was like, I don't even know what he's talking about. Once I figured out so I tell my students, like my vocal students all the time, like, don't pay attention to the lyric. Lyrics are important, but not when you're trying to learn the song. Like when you're trying to learn the song, get in the space that the song is in. So for me, I could have just been like, I know everybody loves me, but there's no way I'll lie to them. Like it could be anything, and then put the lyrics, and the lyrics will like work, right?
That's actually pretty sick.
You know what I mean?
Those are good spontaneous lyrics.
like Mary had a little lamb, but Jesus never heard her friends. And while the lamb would go to school, everybody knows I love her. Like it doesn't. It's just about making their voice as dark as possible to make your voice another instrument, right?
Yeah.
So in this song, like the darkness is in the more breath than like notes. There's a shadow just behind me, shrouding every step I take, making every promise empty, pointing every finger at me, waiting like a stalking bug. So yeah, it's mostly like air than anything. Like
yeah,
because that's how I talk. Waiting like a stalking bug, like waiting like a stalking bug. Like that's the only difference. And then as soon as you add like a bunch of reverb and delay to it, the air in the voice makes it work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing is, like, there's been a lot of videos and stuff of like vocal coaches responding to a live performance of this song. I highly recommend everybody just Google that. But it comes with like the lyrics don't matter as much in this song at all. That they don't make you feel what Maynard makes you feel. And so like you're trying to sell a feeling, not a lyric, is what you're saying.
Yeah. That's exactly. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So then, in the pre-chorus, it has to be. I felt like it has to be belted, or else it just doesn't add enough juxtaposition.
Yeah,
right, between the verse and the chorus. Come, Jesus, won't you try a whistle? Something that the past has done. Jesus, won't you try a whistle? Something but the past and done. So then, like that part, the notes just felt right. They felt better to me. That's really all it is. It wasn't really like I need to sing exactly what he's saying. I'm just like, this note feels better in my voice, so I'm gonna sing it.
And we have to talk about your choice to remove the F word from the song, because I feel that is such an impactful thing. So I want to like with the audience know why we chose this.
All right. Like for real, Jam, I don't know if I even really told you this in entirety, but like singing the word fucking, right? Like just listen to the difference, because I'm trying to also record, like we're also trying to get this, complete, right?
Yeah.
Jesus, won't you fucking whistle? Like where the note is, it'd be too pretty. And I'd have to practice maybe for 3 more days to get it. Like, I'm trying to record this now, right? That's one. And Jesus, won't you fucking whistle? Like it works. It totally works. It totally works. Like I'm not saying that they should change the lyric, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I just changed it to something that sound fucking try like it has the same kind of diphthongy sound.
Yeah.
So then I just kept with it.
No, I
It's really
like it.
what
I
it's
like
really what
it.
happened.
Yeah.
So
It also like a little bit of your like southern,
yeah,
Atlanta,
there you
Austin,
go. It's working.
you say like I can't even mimic it. I'm not even gonna try, but you say fucking different. The like
Yeah, I
what
don't
I
use it in that
say.
context. Like I would
Yeah.
never say, Jesus, won't you fucking whistle? I'd be like, Jesus, you trying to whistle or what? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how I
Yeah.
so if I were to take these lyrics and say it
Yeah.
like how I would say it, I'd be like, Jesus, won't you try and whistle something? Give me something. I
Yeah.
wouldn't really talk like this anyway.
Yeah.
And it didn't change the meaning of the song of the pre-chorus.
No,
So
absolutely not. No, I love it. I love like that we talked about it because that's gonna make some good fucking content right there.
so now that we've done that, now I can come down into the chorus.
Okay.
Now I'm literally just singing how I kind of sang in the verse. I feel like it's the same energy, but because we broke it up in the pre-chorus. Something but the past and done. Why can't we not be sober? I just want to start this over, and why can't we drink? So again, it's like this talking air thing because
Yeah.
it's also kind of low. So it's you gotta pick a struggle.
Yeah.
Like just let the
What
note
I
go.
like about it a lot, like what I like about you singing this song is that, a lot of the songs that we've done together is just very like pop R&B. And to hear you kind of sing in this like breathy rock type of way it was very cool for me as a mix
Yay.
engineer to experience that.
It was fun to do. That's for sure. It felt like a more natural transition, like from R&B to this felt like a more natural transition because you're kind of doing that anyway.
Mm,
Like real intimate singing is really what it is.
yeah.
Background vocals. I'm gonna do background vocals. It's gonna happen. Like they're gonna happen because you start to hear all these places. So in the pre-chorus, like nice harmony. Jesus, want to try a whistle? Something about the past and done. So there's the pre-chorus there. If anything, I noticed like since you and I, Jam, have been working together, you've never really asked me to double stuff, but I do notice that when I double like lines and verses, you like eat them up.
Yeah.
You eat them up. I'm like, so
I don't ask you to do shit. That's what it is.
Don't really ask you to do anything, but like
oh, it's so good.
just doing
So
these,
good.
like just that alone
Yes.
is. I was like, no, Jam wants it. She may not say it, but she's gonna be really happy that it did.
Yeah. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Yeah. So we're gonna do this.
I really like the harmony at the end chorus too. Like that you sing the whole line there.
Down here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I love that. So in the mix, I have that almost the same volume as the regular main vocal.
That's okay. That's cool. I was wondering what you're gonna do with it because I thought to myself like this isn't. You're doing the most of the background vocal, Cinnamon, and now the actual song is not coming through. So I was like, let me just sing this an octave higher. Why can't we not be sober? And it was like a pain in the butt to try to match what I sang earlier. So I was just like, forget it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So,
that's the thing. That's the great thing about doing like rock music.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
It doesn't have to be perfect. You get to experiment with things and like play with things so much. Yeah. And you get to be a little messy, which is always fun. It's always the difference between like a pop song and a rock song is that the rock song, you get to be messy and have a little bit more, free form.
Agreed.
Too perfect rock is my least favorite kind of rock.
Because it'll feel corny then, won't it?
Yeah. Like if you listen to like the early 2000s, like all of the like new metal, it was so perfect and like everything was done like to the T. And I love some of that shit. Don't get me wrong, but it's so different than like this album, which was produced by a woman, Sylvia Massey, which is so cool. But she had this vision of like, let's make it dirty, let's make it creepy, let's shoot a piano with a shotgun. Like, it's so cool. And so in doing a cover, you can embrace that and not have to be as perfect as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's why I was like, I'll try it.
Yeah.
I was like, and I mean, I ended up having a lot of fun with it. So.
Step I take, making every promise empty, pointing every finger at me, waiting like a stalking butler, who upon the finger rest, murder now the path I must we, just because the sun has come. Jesus, won't you try and whistle something that the